You know, folks, making that decision to start a podcast or really any type of business, it's scary. It was for Gibby and I as well. And what if no one listens? What if we make fools of ourselves? And it can be really hard to get over that doubt. But choosing to make that leap was one of the best decisions we've ever made. Another great decision was picking Shopify to help with our podcast merch. It really does help when you have a partner like Shopify on your side. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world. And 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Gymshark to True Crime All the Time to brands just getting started. There is a lot to love about Shopify. I love the fact that they're now packed with helpful AI tools that help you write product descriptions and even enhance your product photography. You can easily create email and social media campaigns. And if you get stuck, Shopify is always around to share advice with their award-winning 24/7 customer support. It's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/TCAT. Go to shopify.com/TCAT. That's shopify.com/TCATT. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 510 of the True Crime All the Time podcast. I'm Mike Ferguson, and with me, as always, is my partner in true crime, Mike Gibson. Gibby, how are you?
I'm good. How about you, man?
I am doing great.
Good.
I'm still coming off that vacation high.
Yeah?
Still feeling good.
All right.
I'm just trying to figure out how long it will last.
Hope it lasts a long time for you.
Before I feel like I need another one.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and give our Patreon shout outs. We had Jamie Basil.
Also known as Pesto.
Yeah. Elisa Konya.
Konya.
That's what I'm going with.
Yes.
Farnaz Ashuri.
Hey, Ashuri.
Nikki Basie.
Bassi.
Could be.
Yeah.
Cynthia.
Hey, Cynthia.
And last but not least, Jesse Hake.
Hey, what's going on, Jesse?
And then if we go back into the vault, this week we selected Karen Kirk.
The Kirk is in the house.
Who you said on Patreon was Captain Kirk's daughter.
Absolutely. She knows it.
Which made no sense whatsoever. Fictional character.
Is it?
It is.
Maybe not.
We have a brand new episode out right now on True Crime All the Time Unsolved, where we're talking about Marlene Hayes. She left work early in 1981. She wasn't feeling well, and she interrupted someone burglarizing her home. It was a really brutal crime that shocked her neighborhood. And now over 40 years later, her murder remains unsolved.
Yeah, tragic.
So that's out there right now. Check it out. We did put a Patreon episode out Saturday night that's on Anna Trujillo. This case goes back to 2013. She called 911 to report that her boyfriend was bleeding out inside his apartment. When the police showed up, she answered the door covered in blood. Investigators were met with a shocking scene, but it became even more shocking when they discovered that the murder weapon was her high-heeled shoe.
Yeah. Stiletto.
So it's a fascinating case. If you're a Patreon member, make sure you check it out if you haven't already. If you're not, now's a great time to sign up. This was our 90th Patreon-only episode.
A lot of episodes out there.
Yep, absolutely. And then be on the lookout for a new episode on Thursday. It's on Anna Catherine Cardwell, 20-year-old who was murdered in her home while her mother was away running errands. And it's a real mystery as to who her perpetrator is.
Yeah, kind of shocking.
It is. All right, buddy, are you ready to get into this episode of True Crime All the Time?
I am ready.
We're talking about Julie Williams. Julie Anna Williams was born in Sanger, California on July 22nd, 1939. She was a divorced mother of 3 adult daughters. She previously worked as an escrow secretary for insurance companies. In 1984, Julie moved from Central California to Mesa, Arizona. She came for a fresh start, according to her family. But you know what she didn't want to give up? Is that good weather.
That good weather, that's for sure.
Moving from California to Arizona. It's not like she moved to Ohio to be near us and experience the harsh winters.
No.
Julie lived with her daughter, Nancy, and her son-in-law, Mike Brady.
The Brady Bunch?
Well, I mean, you know, when you have the name Mike Brady, how many times a week is somebody going to bring that up?
It's going to come up quite a bit, I think, back in the 80s.
You don't think it would come up today?
Yeah, probably too, yeah.
That's so funny that you would say the 1980s. It's not like people have forgotten the Brady Bunch. Literally, if your name was Mike Brady today,
yeah,
you would have somebody at least once a week talking about it.
That's true.
Julie's life centered around her 3 daughters and church. She made a lot of strong friendships in her 2 years in Arizona. Steve Lotzbike, the husband of Julie's daughter, Patty, told the Arizona Republic she was a wonderful mother-in-law, and her girls feel she spread a lot of light on everyone she met. So Julie worked for Transamerica Title Insurance Company in Tempe, Arizona. The Arizona Republic reported that she was a floater and didn't have a permanent office.
Hey, you know, she gets to go to a different office every now and then. It's kind of exciting to be a floater.
Yeah, my daughter, who is getting ready to be a senior in college, this summer she's working a job at the hospital as part of her nursing program, and she's a floater. So she may go downtown to the big hospital. They could send her to one of the smaller hospitals out in the suburbs. She just doesn't know. And she kind of enjoys it.
I think it keeps it exciting.
Yeah, that's what she says anyway. On Monday, March 24th, 1986, Julie went to work as usual. At 8 a.m., she drank water from the office water cooler. And then almost immediately, she collapsed. Her concerned coworkers quickly suspected she became sick from the water. Deborah Gresham and Glenn Myers had also gotten cups of water from the cooler. They brought the water to their lips, tasted it and smelled it, and realized there was something in it. They didn't swallow the water, and so they didn't become sick, but they did report a bitter taste.
So I have to confess something. Back in the day, I worked at an office, and you used to put those big, gallons of jugs on top, right?
Yeah, of a water cooler.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah. And I remember it looked dirty, right? So I thought, I'm going to clean that thing up. So I got the bleach out, and I'm like cleaning the nozzle out. And then I thought, this is stupid. Why don't I just pour some bleach down into the reserve and run it through?
Yeah, because the first part was stupid.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I poured some bleach in, didn't measure it out or anything. I didn't make sure I got the same amount I put in, but I ran it through, and, I smelt the bleach and then I left it because you want to leave it so it kills everything for a little bit, and then you want to run it back out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got busy, and I put the cooler tank back on top and went along my day, and until there's a guy in the office, went up to the office and filled a cup up, and he took a drink, and he about passed out because he drank. Basically, majority of it was still bleach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're lucky you didn't accidentally kill somebody
I know.
And end up in prison. So I don't mean to Monday morning quarterback you here, but, could you have maybe put a Post-it note on it, left the actual jug of water off, and just said, hey, in the process of being cleaned, there's bleach in this, don't drink.
Yeah, I think there was a few conversations like that afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, man. Oh, but we've talked about it before. Those things are scary to me.
Yeah.
Because everybody can picture that type of water cooler. All you have to do is take the top part off, the jug part, turn it upside down. You could pour anything you want in there.
You could.
That's a scary thing.
Yeah.
And I think that most places have kind of gone away from those.
They have.
Individual bottles, sealed. Most places make you pay for your own water now.
Yeah.
They might have a water fountain, but
most of them have the water fountain with the little bottle filler
yes,
that you can press up and fill.
Those are big now.
Yeah.
Watching this unfold was Sandra Diane Harry, another trans America worker. Diane didn't drink from the water cooler, but she did smell a notable odor coming from the water. She told investigators that the water smelled just like a bad bottle of Scotch she drank from on Friday, March 21st, which caused her to become sick over the weekend. She fainted, but managed to get herself into bed to rest and recover.
Man, you got water smelling like a bad bottle of Scotch.
Well, there's something going on.
Yeah.
So investigators soon began looking into Diane's husband, a guy named Lewis Allen Harry Jr. Diane and Lewis lived in Maryvale, Arizona. Diane met him at a volleyball match in 1981. She noticed that he was quiet and athletic. He played basketball and worked as a referee in local church leagues. The two dated for about 6 months before they moved in together, and then 6 months after that, they got married. Since 1984, Lewis had worked as an athletic equipment manager at South Mountain Community College in Phoenix. Ed Cottrell, a women's basketball coach, said Lewis was a good employee. He was a good worker, kind of an athletic nut like myself.
All right. You were kind of athletic nut.
Yeah, back in my younger days.
Yeah. Now you're just a nut.
Exactly. And very unathletic.
Yeah.
Cottrell recalled meeting Diane once when she picked Lewis up after work. But other than that, Lewis didn't share much about his personal life. And, it's funny. We talk about coworkers quite a bit. Really, people kind of run the gamut. You have people who, don't talk about their personal lives all that much. And then you have people who won't stop talking about their personal lives, sharing way more information than anyone should share.
Yeah.
And probably their family would be mortified if they knew all the things that this person was telling you.
Absolutely, they would.
But I guess that's what makes life interesting, right? If everybody was exactly the same, how less interesting would life be?
It'd be pretty uninteresting. I mean, think like the Stepford wives or Stepford wives or...
Yeah, the second one, definitely.
Second one, yeah.
Did you have something to go along with that, or?
Yeah, it would be really boring.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were just going to stop right there. Or... A woman identified as Mrs. Tompkins, the couple's next door neighbor, had known them since they moved in 2 or 3 years earlier. She told the Arizona Republic that Lewis had been a very good neighbor and a friend. And she didn't know of any domestic problems in the household. Neighbor Darlene Simmons agreed that the couple was nice and quiet. But how many times have we heard that, right? Whether it's a serial killer or, some other type of murder situation.
Yeah.
When neighbors are asked, a lot of times they have nothing but glowing things to say about some of these individuals. Now, not always. Sometimes they're creepy or whatever, but a lot of times they're not. And I think there's a reason for that, especially in the case of serial killers. They're trying to blend in.
Right.
Probably going out of their way to be the good neighbor.
Yeah, they don't want to stand out in a bad way.
Investigators learned that Lewis had a criminal record. In 1975, he was convicted of robbery in Pima County. He also had a record of forgery and assault with a deadly weapon against a federal agent.
Oh, that's not going to bode well.
No, that's a pretty serious crime. In June 1977, he was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison on each of 2 counts of assaulting federal DEA agents. So what happened was these DEA agents were posing undercover as drug buyers. Lewis and an accomplice were going to sell 1 pound of heroin. Instead, they attempted to rob the agents and were arrested. So first of all, don't sell heroin.
No.
Secondly, don't try to sell heroin to undercover federal agents. And then thirdly, don't try to rob the undercover federal agents that you're supposed to be selling heroin to.
I'm guessing they thought they were invincible.
Well, I'm guessing they obviously didn't know these were federal agents and thought they were going to get away with some money or drugs or both. Lewis completed his probation on March 4th, 1985. Based on the March 21st incident, authorities determined that Diane Harry was the intended victim of the office water poisoning. Investigators tested the water and determined it was laced with cyanide. Police also found a powdery substance in the office's empty coffee pot and on coffee cups left there over the weekend. This too was identified as cyanide.
I mean, it sounds like the individual wanted to make sure everything was covered.
But here's the thing, right? If you are trying to kill your wife, as it appears, right, that's what this guy was doing, I get it. You're trying to make it look like it wasn't you. Maybe it happened at work. But not only are you taking the chance that your wife is going to die, which is, I guess, maybe what you wanted to happen.
Yeah.
But how do you know that your wife is going to be drinking the water or drinking the coffee? And how many other people could you potentially kill?
Yeah. I mean, if someone gets water, other people get coffee, and from the coffee pot, somebody else makes a cup of tea in one of the cups that were laced. I mean, you could have multiple people dying.
Well, it does kind of remind me very much of the Tylenol poisoning.
Yeah.
Right? You're trying to cover up something, which is what they believe was happening, but you're also putting a bunch of other people at risk.
Yeah. You're willing to kill other people to kill the one person you want to be dead.
Yes. So on March 25th, 1986, Lewis was brought in for questioning and was booked into jail that evening for attempted murder. He did not admit any involvement in the poisoning. Sadly, Julie Williams died at the hospital on March 26, 1986, and her autopsy confirmed that she died of cyanide poisoning. And man, I just can't help but think, what a scary situation this is. I've talked about it before, right? Being served food.
Yeah.
That could be a scary situation. You have no idea what's in that food.
No.
If you didn't make it.
We trust people a lot.
We do.
Like over the top. I mean, especially today, right? You trust the restaurant that's making it. You got to trust the delivery guy bringing it, right?
If you're ordering it, yeah.
Yeah, that they don't pull over and sprinkle something in there. And then, like for me, I have to trust you that once it gets here, you're not doing something with it to take me out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's multiple.
It's always weird when I put the food on the plate and hand it to you.
It freaks me out a little bit, for sure. Yeah.
I do that on purpose.
Especially when mine looks a different shade than everybody else's. I'm like, but then I just don't question it.
But then, I think of this woman, Julie Williams. I mean, she just went into work to do her job.
Right.
She didn't hurt anybody.
No.
As far as I know, she didn't, have any enemies or anything like that. And nobody was even out to hurt her.
She was just thirsty.
And died of cyanide poisoning.
Yeah.
In a brief interview from jail on March 26th, Lewis said he didn't know Julie had died. He declined to comment further. So he's not really talking at all, which is probably a good thing. It's not in his best interest. On March 28th, 1986, prosecutors upgraded the attempted murder charge to first-degree murder and added 4 more counts of attempted murder.
Well, yeah. I mean, if someone else would have picked up a cup, they could have potentially died too. That's an attempt to murder.
Yeah, 1 count was for the March 21st poisoning of his wife, Diane. The other 3 attempted murder counts involved the 2 coworkers who drank the poison water but spit it out, and then the second attempt on Diane's life. So, go back to the bottle of Scotch, right, that smelled bad. Obviously, they connected the 2.
Yeah.
He tried to kill her by tainting this bottle of Scotch with cyanide. Detective Michael Palmer told the Arizona Republic, it's obvious he was attempting to kill his wife, not the other people in the office. Investigators declined to discuss where Lewis got the cyanide from at that time. A South Mountain Community College spokeswoman said sodium cyanide was not kept on campus.
Yeah, I would think it'd be difficult to get your hands on cyanide. And I don't know back then how difficult it would have been then. But today I would think it would be difficult.
I would think it'd be a lot harder in 2026 than it was in, 1985, 1986, for sure. I'm also assuming that the Tylenol poisonings would have had something to do with regulation, right? We always put something in place after something bad happens.
True.
But I think on an episode, within the last couple of months, we were talking about some drug. And we must have said that it's probably pretty hard to get. And I had a bunch of people write in, Gibbs, and say, I can't remember what the drug was. And they said, no, it's used for this, this, and this. It's pretty easy to get.
Oh, okay.
But it's just something you and I would have never experienced or we have no knowledge of, but other people do. And they're quick to write in, which I love.
Yeah,
right? It's not like I feel like I'm being corrected. I just love to get the information.
You could buy a bunch of apples and collect the seeds and harvest, like, what do you need? Like 10,000 apple seeds, and then you can make cyanide out of that.
Oh, I was not aware of that.
I think that's how it works.
Are you telling people how to make cyanide? Because I don't think you should be doing that.
That's a lot of apples to get the apple
How do you
seeds.
like those apples?
Yeah. I could be wrong, but I think you can do it that way.
On April 8th, 1986, Lewis was indicted on all charges. A pretrial hearing in June was delayed by confusion over the type of cyanide used in the poisoning. Lewis's defense attorney, Richard Steiner, announced that he might attempt to have the case returned to the grand jury because the Tempe police failed to inform the grand jury that the type of cyanide that apparently caused Julie Williams' death was different from the type of cyanide found on items taken from Lewis's home. So again, how many different types of cyanide does this guy have?
It sounds like he's got a few.
Deputy County Attorney Cleve Lynch said during the hearing that Steiner makes some assumptions based on police reports about evidence that had not yet been examined by the Arizona Department of Public Safety lab technicians. So maybe there was a little bit of confusion over whether there was different types of cyanide.
Yeah.
Before the hearing, a detective prepared a supplemental memo explaining that he was told by a criminalist that the cyanide found in Lewis's home was potassium cyanide and not sodium cyanide, as he told the detective on March 25th. The defense received this memo minutes before the hearing. So it sounds like maybe that's where the confusion stemmed from. The judge granted the defense's request for a 1-week delay so that they could discuss the differences in the two types of cyanide with a chemist from ASU.
Well, probably need to understand that.
No, it might be a big part of the case.
Yeah.
Right. Later reporting by the Arizona Republic clears up the confusion. In a sworn affidavit, Detective Michael Palmer wrote that based on a preliminary test done by an analyst for the Arizona Department of Public Safety, the Tempe police initially reported that Julie was poisoned with sodium cyanide. However, the analyst conducted further tests before informing the grand jury that Julie actually died from potassium cyanide. Investigators seized 2 vials that contained residue of potassium cyanide from Lewis's home. So this was a big deal because if you had 2 different types, well, it seems like the jury could make a much bigger deal out of that.
Right.
What you found in my client's home was potassium cyanide. But what killed Julie Williams was sodium cyanide. So, how are you making the connection?
But thankfully, the lab corrected it with the final results to say it was potassium.
In July, the judge denied the defense's motion to send the case back to the grand jury. In September 1986, the Arizona Republic interviewed Diane. She had refused to talk to reporters, but changed her mind because she said, it may not come out right in court. I wanted to say what I know. Diane insisted, I do not believe Lewis tried to kill me. I have never believed it.
Wow.
Well, and let's face it, Gibbs, we've talked about it before. How hard would it be to believe that your significant other was trying to kill you.
Well, you wouldn't want to believe it.
No, I think for most people, they'd have a very hard time coming to that conclusion. Now, just because I get sick every time I eat my wife's cooking, that doesn't mean that she's trying to poison me.
No, that's just bad cooking.
Yeah. Yeah. And she'd be the first one to tell you.
Yeah.
She hates to cook, barely tries, doesn't follow directions.
She can't even do the Home Chef, which gives you step-by-step instructions.
With all the necessary ingredients.
Yeah. She just does her own thing.
And we're not talking bad about my wife. If she was on this podcast right now, she would literally say the same thing.
She would.
She hates to cook. She does not want to cook. But I would still have a hard time ever believing my wife was purposefully trying to poison me.
Yeah.
Diane recalled that on the morning of March 24th, she recognized the almond-like smell coming from her office water cooler and immediately called her husband. I told him, it's strange. It's the same smell as the bottle of Scotch at our house. Diane said that both she and Lewis told a Tempe detective about their experience the previous Friday with the Scotch. Diane asked the Republic, if Lewis was trying to hide something, why would he be talking about the Scotch? It don't make sense. Diane recalled that the Friday before the office incident, she arrived home before her husband and fixed herself a drink. She thought something was off. The Scotch didn't smell right and it was bitter. When Lewis came home from work a few minutes later, she asked him to try it and he did. He spit it out and went to the bathroom to brush his teeth. Diane went outside to get some air. When she came back inside, she passed out. At the time, she thought it was just from working too hard. She threw the Scotch out the following day. Lewis retrieved it, and Lewis was the one who later brought the Scotch to a detective.
Okay. Now it makes you think maybe Lewis didn't have anything to do with this.
Well, it is very strange, right? If he's trying to poison his wife by lacing the Scotch with cyanide, why in the world would he take it to a detective and say, hey, I think something strange is going on here?
So then you have to think, okay, then if it's not Lewis, then who wants to kill Diane? Because Diane seems to be the constant in both of those.
Or, the common denominator.
Yeah.
But you can kind of understand why she wouldn't think that Lewis was trying to kill her.
Yeah.
Diane also told the Republic that she and Lewis had been receiving threatening mail and thought someone was possibly trying to kill them. They turned over some of those letters to the police. The week before Lewis was arrested, he took Diane out and taught her how to shoot a gun because of the threatening letters. Diane said that after her husband was arrested, detectives found cigar tubes in the storage room of their home that contained cyanide. However, she noted that storage area is not locked. Anyone could have put it there. So Diane said she believed her husband was a scapegoat because police wanted to solve the murder. Now, the question I would have is, I get it, it's not locked. Technically, anyone could gain access to it. But why in the world would anybody put, some vials of cyanide in your storage room?
Right.
Maybe to hide them, to come back later and get them, I guess. That's possible.
Unless they were hoping that she would have died from what happened at the office. And at the same time, they could set up the husband to take the fall.
Yeah, that's a great, observation as well. But she said they had a good marriage, saying we had no problems in our marriage whatsoever. If we were angry with each other, we wouldn't say anything. We don't holler or shout. You wait till the anger inside you is over, then we sit and talk about it. Okay, seems like a pretty healthy way to do it. It's not my style, but it's, a pretty healthy way to do it.
It's not Christina's style either.
Christina and I are very alike, actually. Diane recalled that the police asked if either she or Lewis were unfaithful. She said no. They asked about life insurance and whether Lewis was angry that she made more money than him. Diane insisted there was no reason her husband would have wanted to kill her. To be honest with you, unless there's a big life insurance policy, Why would you want to kill your spouse when they're the ones making more money than you?
Good point.
Well, because right now we don't have the motive, right? She noted that the week before the poisoning, she and Lewis spent $3,000 remodeling their bathrooms. Diane questioned, why would someone who's going to kill his wife remodel the bathrooms?
I don't know about that. I mean,
maybe he just wanted to have nice bathrooms.
That's right. Hey, when you're gone here soon, I want to have a nice bathroom to.
That one to me is not as puzzling as actually taking the bottle of scotch to a detective if in fact you're the one who put cyanide in the bottle of scotch.
Yeah, because you're not really helping your case.
No, you're just bringing it to light when technically you don't have to. You could just throw it out, right? And never speak of it to anyone.
Like it never existed.
Opening arguments in Lewis's murder trial began on November 20th, 1986. The jury heard that Lewis tried to kill his wife twice by poisoning her, but ended up causing the death of one of her coworkers. Prosecutor Cleve Lynch also attacked the claims that Lewis and Diane were being threatened. Lynch noted that contents of two of the letters were written on legal pads from Lewis's office and in his handwriting. Okay. They determined the legal pads were from his office. It would be a little strange to me that Diane wouldn't recognize the handwriting as Lewis's.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think most spouses would recognize, their significant other's handwriting, especially if they've been together for a while.
You can tell your wife's handwriting pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The prosecution described how on March 21st, Diane became sick after drinking a small amount of scotch that was laced with cyanide. She couldn't catch her breath, which is a symptom of cyanide poisoning. According to the prosecution, Lewis was having an affair with a woman he met in January and received 4 vaguely threatening letters from the woman's ex-boyfriend. After Julie Williams was poisoned, Lewis produced 2 more letters, but these were the ones that were written on yellow legal pads from his office and were written in his handwriting.
So fake letters.
Yeah, maybe it sounds like there was some real threatening letters that might have come from, this woman's ex-boyfriend, but then he manufactured 2 more. And maybe that's why Diane didn't recognize the handwriting, because the first 4 were not in his handwriting. But just the fact that we have an affair, or the prosecution is alleging an affair, if it's true, well, at least now we do have motive, right? An affair is a motive for murder.
It is.
You want out of the marriage. You want to be with someone else.
What are you willing to do to make that happen?
Investigators discovered there was a $75,000 life insurance policy on Diane, a $32,000 Transamerica policy on Diane, and Diane had $5,000 worth of stock in the company. Lewis was the beneficiary of all 3.
And there's more motive.
More motive. I mean, yeah, you could say it's $100 and some $1,000, but it's also like the mid 1980s.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of change.
So it was more money back then, obviously. Lewis's defense attorney, Richard Steiner, contended that his client was the target of serious threats by a man who was angry because Lewis helped that man's ex-girlfriend get a court order against him. The defense also argued that numerous people, including tenants of the 22 offices in the building that housed Transamerica, the cleaning crew, and construction workers, had access to the building. I get it. It's a good argument to make, right? If you're the defense, hey, this is a big building. There's a lot of people in and out. A lot of people could have had access to that water cooler. Prosecutors noted that computer printouts indicated Diane's key card was used to get into the building at 10:18 a.m. on Saturday, March 22nd, 2 days before the murder. Investigators believe Lewis poisoned the water cooler at that time. So I'm assuming they checked into everything. Diane said, no, I wasn't at the office on Saturday, right? They would have had to have done all of that work. And so therefore they believe he took her key card, went to the office, got in, poisoned the water cooler. But according to the defense, Lewis was mowing a neighbor's lawn on that Saturday morning. He also made a phone call in West Phoenix, a short time before the building was accessed in Tempe. So they're casting some doubt, and they're doing a fairly good job of it.
Yes, they are.
With what they have to work with. Diane Harry testified that she still believed in her husband's innocence. She confirmed that they started receiving threatening letters in January or February of 1986. The first letter was addressed to her in her maiden name and said that if she didn't tell her husband to leave the man's girlfriend alone, he was going to do something to him. When the letters continued, Lewis purchased a gun for her to carry. She didn't believe. Lewis put the cyanide in her water. She asked him after his arrest if he had been to her office the Saturday before, but she couldn't remember his answer.
That's strange.
It's a little strange.
I mean, it's a yes or no answer, right?
And it seems like it would be something you'd remember. It'd be a big deal.
Yeah.
Diane completed her testimony by telling the court that a life insurance policy had lapsed before the poisoning, and she had a good relationship with her husband. She did admit that he didn't tell her he was having an affair or that he had gotten the woman pregnant.
And why would he?
Yeah, no reason for most men who are having an affair to confess that to their wife. It's not going to go over well. But I just want to talk about, what does it do in the grand scheme of a trial when the defendant's wife, who the prosecution says was the target, is getting on the stand and saying that she believes he's innocent?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to hurt their case.
And by this time, right, she knew about the affair. She knew that he had gotten this woman pregnant. She obviously wasn't upset about it to the point where she would get on the stand and try to blast him. Now, I'm sure she was upset about it, don't get me wrong, but not to that point where it made her believe that he would have tried to kill her.
But at the end of the day, I mean, the prosecutor, they're just trying to show that he killed
Julie Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's on trial for that murder. Now, they're also trying to show that he tried to kill Diane and a number of other people. Robert Allen Telenick, a laboratory technician at South Mountain Community College, testified that Lewis asked him about cyanide 3 weeks before the March 21st murder attempt.
Not good.
Not good for Lewis.
No.
Right? Because, all right, some of this stuff you can kind of take as circumstantial. Maybe you can look at it that it could go this way or the other way. But when someone testifies that you're asking them about cyanide 3 weeks before there's a cyanide poisoning that you're linked to, okay, I would think that's going to hit the jury or the judge pretty hard.
It should. And it should register with his wife somewhat too. Like, wait a minute, you asked somebody about this 3 weeks?
Oh, and I'm sure she's finding that out as the trial is happening.
Yeah.
as it's being testified to. Lewis told this guy that a friend was researching a report on the recent Tylenol murders. In that conversation and another conversation later that week, he pointed out to Lewis that cyanide was readily available and told him where it could be purchased locally. Lewis also wanted to know how much cyanide was needed to kill someone.
It's a very detailed question.
And a damning one.
Yeah.
Right? I get it. Are there other uses for cyanide? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right? That's why it was available to purchase. But he didn't say, how much do I need to get rid of some pest problem?
Right.
Or, something like that. If he actually said or came out and said, how much cyanide is needed to kill someone? All right, you're really not masking your intentions a whole lot there.
Yeah, I mean, you can say, I was just curious, just wanted to know. But I think most people would say, Did you want to know because you wanted to do what you did?
Yeah, because why do you need to know that? If you're not planning on killing someone with cyanide, is that just a curiosity? And it just happens to come like 3 weeks before someone is killed by cyanide? Now, there are coincidences and there are non-coincidences, I guess. I was trying to think of the other word.
You just wanted to say coincidences.
I wanted you to say it because I know it's a word that you do struggle with sometimes. So even though I said, right, his defense is doing an admirable job of trying to, cast some reasonable doubt, there's still a lot that is really making this guy look guilty. A woman who worked at a chemical company testified that she sold about a pound of potassium cyanide to someone on March 7th, but she didn't identify Lewis as the customer. She wasn't permitted to do so because in an earlier court hearing, she identified someone else as the customer.
Okay. Kind of mysterious.
Yeah, but also maybe an error in his favor.
Yeah.
Right? Did she make an honest mistake? Yeah, probably. But because of that, it was ruled that she couldn't then later say, no, it was him who bought the potassium cyanide. She could only say that she sold a pound of it to someone. And I think as a juror, I don't know what you make of that.
It's hard to do anything with it, really.
Yeah, now you could infer that that's where he got it from, but it would be a little bit of a stretch, I think. A handwriting expert testified that the signature on a receipt for the purchase of a pound of cyanide on March 7th was in Lewis's handwriting. Catalogs were also found in Lewis's office from the company where the cyanide was purchased. So now when you add that, okay, makes it a little easier, right? It's his handwriting, his signature on the receipt for the cyanide. It must have been him.
But could someone forge his signature, his handwriting?
Yeah, possibly. But you have a handwriting expert.
Yeah.
So you have to take their testimony and weigh it like you would any testimony, right? How credible do you believe it is? Yeah. Then the jury heard from a woman named Verbrae Ann Wooten, who testified that her former boyfriend, Roy Fitzpatrick, wrote threatening letters to Lewis and also threatened to poison him. She dated Fitzpatrick for about 3 weeks and tried to break things off with him, but he began harassing and threatening her. The harassment continued for 5 years, and Lewis helped her get an injunction against Fitzpatrick, but the harassment continued. According to Wooten, he would tell me what he did to women while he was in Vietnam and said that's what he would do to me if I ever dated someone else. She testified he threatened to kill me, to kill Harry, and to tell Harry's wife about the affair. He also threatened to poison the SOB or set Harry on fire. Okay, a little drastic.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to dated for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And
then he harassed her for 5 years.
It's extreme, man. Wow.
I mean, you shouldn't be harassing anyone,
Never.
right?
Never.
But how does it come from a 3-week relationship?
Definitely couldn't let go, could he?
No.
And there's probably women listeners right now saying, you know what? You'd be surprised how often that happens.
How attached a man can get and not be able to let go. And I get it. And I'm sure it can happen the other way around as well.
Absolutely, yeah. You can flip it either way.
It's hard for me to understand just because I've never been through something like that.
Never been stalked?
No one's ever thought enough about me, I guess, to stalk me after. Actually, I was always the dumpee. I was never the dumper.
Oh, you were the dumpee?
Yeah, I got dumped a lot, to be honest with you.
Did you really?
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah. Especially in high school.
I can see why.
Yeah.
No, I can't. Actually, you look like one of those high school models.
Oh, when I was in high school?
Yeah. So I'm surprised you got dumped.
I think I was too nice.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, because I specifically remember getting dumped a lot, like right after a big holiday where a gift was involved.
Oh, so they didn't like your gift?
Oh, the gift was always nice.
They just wanted the gift.
Maybe it was too much. Maybe they thought it was coming on too strong. I don't know.
Hey, we've been going out for like a week, and you're like, I got you this
Diamond ring. No, it wasn't anything like that. But yeah, I don't remember actually breaking up with a lot of people. I do remember getting broken up with, though.
Yeah. Probably remember each one of theirs, each individual's name. It's probably on the list somewhere.
But it wasn't like we're talking 100. It wasn't that many.
You weren't a player?
No, I did also get married at the age of 22.
That's true. Yeah.
Wooten said she met Lewis on January 20th. They began a relationship. He told her that he and his wife were going through a divorce. She became pregnant, but later miscarried.
The old, we're going through a divorce. So it's okay that we're sleeping together and
I
pregnant.
I don't think his wife knew anything about that part.
I don't think so either.
Or the affair. Fitzpatrick followed Lewis from Wooten's apartment one night and found out where he lived. He also told Wooten that he knew Lewis's wife worked for Transamerica. In his testimony, Roy Fitzpatrick denied threatening Lewis or Verbrae Wooten and said only that he and Wooten had arguments. He did read the threatening letters. He admitted to sending Lewis and Diane. He admitted to writing 4 of the letters, but denied writing 2 others, including one that threatened to take something away from Lewis. So this is a very interesting dynamic, right? This guy, Roy Fitzpatrick, because I think if you're the defense attorney, you could make a strong argument that, it wasn't Lewis who did this. It was Roy Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
He knew where Lewis's wife worked. He was trying to get back at Lewis. And he's the one who poisoned the water. And maybe he's the one who poisoned the Scotch. But also he seemed to be pretty honest on the stand, right? He admitted to writing the 4 threatening letters, but denied writing the other 2, which handwriting experts said Lewis wrote on legal pads that came from his office. And I think the other argument that could be made as far as Roy Fitzpatrick is concerned is, did Lewis use him, right? Did he take the bottle of Scotch to the detective because he had these threatening letters? And he could have said, hey, someone is trying to kill us. Someone is trying to poison us. And then he turns around and poisons the water supply, hoping that it would be blamed on Roy Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been the plan.
Lewis got on the stand and said he didn't remember ever being at the warehouse where police said the cyanide was purchased.
Again, I think it's a yes or no answer.
I just don't remember it.
I mean, either you were or you weren't.
I don't remember signing that receipt that a handwriting expert said was my signature.
Yeah.
I just don't remember it, Gibby. Now, I'm a very forgetful person. I will be the first one to admit that. I think, though, if I were to make a purchase like cyanide, that would probably stick with me.
I don't think you're not going to recall that.
No. Now, it's not in his best interest to remember it, though.
No, of course not.
He also provided an alibi and explanations for the prosecution's circumstantial evidence, such as his fingerprints on coffee cups in the office, the letters in his handwriting, and his conversation with a coworker about poison. He denied planning the office poisoning or trying to implicate Roy Fitzpatrick. He claimed his prints got on the coffee cups when he visited his wife at the office. So it's a big deal, right? He has to try to provide explanations for all this evidence, even the circumstantial evidence, against him.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You go to your wife's office, you open up the cupboard, and you touch every coffee cup in there just because, I feel like doing that right now. Maybe I don't like how they're in here. I moved them around. I placed them in there better. My fingerprints got on it. That's how it happened.
The jury began deliberating on December 16th, 1986. On the 17th, Lewis Allen Harry Jr. was found guilty of first-degree murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. 2 members of the jury told the Arizona Republic that the security card and the signature on the receipt for cyanide were among the most convincing evidence. And I get that. I mean, those are some of the stronger pieces, right? There's a lot of circumstantial evidence in this case. So I could see why maybe the jury would gravitate towards these two things.
Yeah.
You know, if Diane, is saying, well, I didn't go to the office on Saturday, but her card was used. Well, who else in the household would have access to that card?
Yeah.
Is it possible that somebody came in and stole it? Yeah, I guess technically, right? In as far as anything is possible, but it's more likely that her husband, who could have easily taken it out of her purse or wherever it was, used it. And then, you know, to me, the signature on this receipt for cyanide is such a big one, because he didn't say, yeah, I bought the cyanide, but I plan to use it for X, or I did use it for X. He said, I don't remember being at the warehouse buying this cyanide.
Which is so strange, because you would know if you were or not, especially a pound of cyanide. Come on. Just now at this point, just have the balls and say, I didn't want to be married to her anymore. I didn't want to go through a divorce either. I just wanted her out of the picture so I could be with this other woman that I thought was having my baby.
But nobody does that.
No,
I mean,
some
some people do. Most people don't, right? They fight to the bitter end because they cling to that chance that they're going to get off, right? That a jury is going to acquit them. You don't want to give up.
No.
Juror Dale Griffin said defense attorney Richard Steiner made a mistake when he told Lewis to look at the jurors and tell them he was innocent. Griffin said not one of us felt he really looked us straight in the eye. And he had this funny look in his eye when he said it.
Well, one, I think it's a terrible thing to ask your client to do, because you can only look one person in the eye at a time. When you're going to go, I didn't do it. 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 It's just,
to each one of them.
Yeah, it's just awkward. And, you know, even if you really didn't do it, you might not have the way of saying it that people would believe you. So why even put the chance out there?
I mean, like you're not a convincing person or something like that. Yeah, I get it. Julie's daughter, Nancy Brady, said that at first she thought Lewis was innocent, but as the evidence mounted, she changed her mind. And I think it would be hard for that not to happen.
Yeah.
Right. I do think in a lot of situations, family members at first, I mean, they start out kind of taking the side of their loved one, because who wants to believe that, you know, a family member would commit this type of, you know, heinous act? But then as all the evidence starts to roll out in the trial, at some point, do you just say, oh my gosh, I even think he did it.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that can happen with people. On February 12th, 1987, Lewis was sentenced to life in prison. The judge said that putting poison into the water cooler showed complete stupidity and senselessness. He described Lewis as sociopathic. It's kind of hard to argue with any of that.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's senseless.
It's kind of like that guy that put the bleach in the water to try to clean it out.
Yeah, I mean, I really am shocked that you revealed that on the podcast, but we have talked about it, right? I think we've all done things in the past that, you know, at the time you didn't think was that big a deal. You look back on it with an older perspective and you're like, what in the hell was I thinking?
Yeah. Why did I do that?
I could have killed somebody.
I'm also saying, hey, the guy that got his cup full of that, maybe smell what you drink before you actually put it in your mouth.
Well, and I did want to talk about that. I think maybe you've seen me do it. I do smell my food.
You do.
And a lot of people have pointed out, people that eat with me, it can look a little strange, but it's not like a true crime thing. It's not like, I don't know why. It's almost like, I don't think it's a nervous tick, but it's something I've done since I was a kid. I always smell my food before I put it in my mouth.
You also do that thing that Robert from Everybody Loves Raymond does.
Yeah, put it on my chin.
Yeah, you touch your chin, then
then I smell it, and then I put it in my mouth. So Lewis received consecutive terms of 21, 28, 28 and 28 years for attempted murder and a life sentence for murder.
He's not going anywhere.
He would be required to serve 2/3 of each sentence for attempted murder and 25 years for murder, meaning he would have to serve 95 total years in prison.
Yeah.
So you're right. He's not going anywhere.
He'll die in prison.
And I don't think he should go anywhere. If you're willing to do something like this, first of all, kill your wife, but then also take the chance of a number of other people dying.
Yeah.
And one person did die. You don't deserve to walk with the rest of us.
He does not.
At a pre-sentencing hearing, Lewis asked the judge to spare the death penalty and let him work on his case so that he might be vindicated someday. The judge imposed the maximum sentences and made them concurrent because of aggravating factors. He said twice the defendant tried to poison his loyal wife. When he poisoned the water, he had to know that anyone who drank it could or would die. The cold, calculated scheme to poison his wife shows a heinous state of mind.
Yeah.
So that's why, right, he has to do 95 years in prison because they were made concurrent.
And to think, man, his wife was so dedicated to him. Like, she didn't want to believe that he did this.
And I don't know what she feels today if she's still alive. There wasn't a lot of information about either him or her, right, as time went on, because obviously this happened almost 40 years ago. But as we wrap this one up, in his attempts to kill his wife, Lewis poisoned an innocent woman. And like we said, right, his wife Diane defended him until the very end and even helped pay for his defense attorney.
Wow.
But ultimately, the jury believed the prosecution's evidence, which showed clear planning and intention, and a disregard of the lives of not only his wife, but everyone who worked in the office that day.
Yeah. Again, willing to kill her and others so he could be with somebody else that probably didn't want to be with him the way that he thought.
Well, and it also had to be about money as well, right? We mentioned the life insurance policies, but here's a guy whose wife was making quite a bit more than he was.
Yeah.
So I think this is a situation where he could have left the marriage. He could have filed for divorce and maybe not have had to pay her a bunch of money in alimony or something like that because she made a lot more money than he did.
Yeah, it might have worked out just fine for him.
But he didn't want that. He wanted the life insurance money.
Yeah.
And he wanted to be able to be with someone else. And that is often the case.
It is.
Right? It's lust, it's greed, kind of all mixed together.
Don't take the shortcut, man.
No, it may be painful. It might not be the easiest thing in the world, but if you don't want to be with someone, just tell them you don't want to be with them.
Yeah.
And start life new and go that route. Don't hurt someone because you think it's going to be easier and you're going to be better off. You're going to get money and this and that. No, what you're going to do is spend the rest of your life in jail.
That's right.
And in the case of Lewis, kill an innocent woman.
Yeah.
And his wife was innocent too. If she had died, she would have
Right.
been innocent as well. But this woman he killed was completely innocent. She had nothing to do with any of this.
No.
She wasn't even involved. She just happened to work at the same place his wife did.
And clearly he didn't care.
No, he didn't care. But that's it for our episode on Julie Williams. We got a voicemail, Gibbs. You want to check that out?
Yes, hear it.
Hey guys, it's Claire from Tasmania, Australia. I've been listening to you guys since probably when the Menendez brothers were a bit, in the news and stuff. So I found your podcast and then I have literally binged ever since. I'm up to date on the newer stuff, but the older stuff I'm now going back through. So it's currently 6:30 a.m. and I listen to you guys while I have a coffee and get ready for work. I had just Matthew Breck episode and you were talking about the fanny packs that we call bum bags here in Australia. talking about them being glittered, and Gibby said that he could wear them so he could put his singles in it when they're up on the stage, and I choked on my coffee. It was hilarious. I quite often get the giggles about you two. You have your banter, and that's what I absolutely love about the podcast. It's something so different. It makes it so easy to listen to. And my partner often says, "Why are you laughing? It's, about serial killers and stuff." And I'm like, yeah, but these two dudes, they are just the funniest buggers ever. I am Team Gibby. Sorry, Fergie. But I just relate to Gibby so much, not on the men's level, but on the absolute words get muddled up and you just make everyone giggle. And that's why I relate to Gibby so much. So I appreciate what you guys do. Love you guys so much. Hopefully I hear my voicemail soon. And I probably will sound very Aussie to you. So, keep your head on a swivel, dudes, and keep your own time ticking. Absolutely love you both. Bye.
All right. Great voicemail all the way from Tasmania.
Yeah. You know what's down there?
Were you trying to do an accent right there?
No, mate. You know what's down there, mate?
Because y'all. I don't know what that was. What's down there?
They got those devils.
Tasmanian devils?
Yeah.
Okay, that accent's morphing in and out.
Raise the lights. Raise the blades. What'd that guy say? Don't give me say razor blades or razor lights. Razor lights, razor blades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, rise of lights.
Yeah.
Right. It's rise up lights.
Razor blades. Yeah.
It sounds like razor blades. Oh my goodness,
remember,
man. You cracked me up too. So I'm Team Gibby for sure.
I'm Team Her, man. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate the voicemail pretty much and the kudos.
Love it.
All right, buddy. That is it for another episode of True Crime All the Time. So for Mike
And Gibby,
stay safe and keep your own time ticking.